This is Shawnee from Mystic Heart Healing. Um, I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on me. I haven't been making videos the way I normally do, and um, I, I've honestly been struggling a little bit. Um, Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I spent 4 days in the hospital. I have, they call it undifferentiated connective tissue disorder, which all that really means is that I have an autoimmune disorder that no one knows how to classify. They've done a bunch of tests so far and over the last few years, and they've never been able to pinpoint it into any of the big autoimmune disorders. Um, but we've gotten to the point where we've got to do some bigger tests to pause to figure it out because um, this flare, it decided to attack my left eye, um, which is super super rare. The neurologist that saw me in the hospital has been practicing for 45 years and has not ever um, seen this. He's read about it, but he's never saw it. And I'm not sharing this to as a pity party. Oh, um, but I know there's a lot of other people out there that are suffering with um, ongoing issues that are chronic, and when you look at them, you don't see it. And I'm a person who tends to not show those sorts of things. So I want to share. I want to share. I said I was going to take you on my wellness journey. This is part of my wellness journey. Um, I it started 2 Thursday nights ago. I was eating dinner, and all of a sudden, my left eye. I like it came on like that. I got a pain behind my left eye, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm just stressed. Maybe this is a headache. Maybe I'm stressed. But it hurt when I moved my eye. Like if I rolled my eyes, which I'm prone to do, I it hurt to move my eye. That night I didn't sleep well. I thought, oh, maybe I'm stressed. Maybe it's, you get that twitchy thing behind your eye sometimes when you're stressed. And that's what I thought maybe this was. Um, Fast forward the next day, I went to my family doctor. Um, they didn't really have an answer, so they referred me to go to an eye doctor, which couldn't get in with my regular eye doctor. Um, they referred me to Wheatland Eye Care, and I can't say enough good things about them. Dr. Ederline was amazing, and they did a whole battery of tests. Look behind my eye, check the pressures, and she sent me to the ER. Um, which the ER is another thing where you want to make sure that you advocate for yourself. Because when I got to the ER, um, the diagnosis that they were looking for, well, when I was going to the ER, that Dr. Ederline at the eye doctor saw was optical neuritis, which is basically inflammation at or around your optic nerve. And if it's not treated right away, it can cause permanent damage. You can lose your eyesight, all of that. But of course, they want to rule out everything else, so they put these drops in that numb your eye and then put a contrast in your eye to look and see if you have any scratches or anything. And I did. I had an abrasion on the front of my eye, which maybe I was rubbing my eye because it had it was watering and bothering me and hurting. So I don't know, but they're like, well, here, we'll give you these drops. We'll put these drops in, every two, you put these drops in for every 2 hours. This is your, and you should have some relief right now because those other drops should numb your eye. And I'm like, well, yes, I can feel where the front of my eye is numb, but behind my eye, where the real pain is, still hurts. It's still excruciating when I move my eye. And they're like, oh. So while waiting for a bed, I spent an hour in the MRI to have my full brain and ocular eye sockets scanned. 3 days of the highest steroids they can give you via IV, and a spinal tap later. Um, we've got the diagnosis of ocular inflammation syndrome, which is just that's where this time the my autoimmune has decided to attack me. Um, so I'll keep you posted. I don't really know much more than that, but it took me a full week to feel normal, somewhat normal, and in my brain and my head from those high levels of steroids. And I will be on steroids for the next 3 months till either we get answers and a better plan, or until the immunosuppressant kicks in and keeps my immune system from attacking me. But I'm going to share my journey. And I'm going to share my journey not because it's like everybody else's, but because I know there's others out there that are in our friends and our community and even in our tribe that are struggling with chronic pain and illnesses that when you look at them, you may not see. I look fine. I looked fine that day. And most people, when they have some kind of ocular neuritis, they have some kind of preliminary infection, or they're swelling, or you could not see, looking at me, that there was anything wrong with my eye. I got a little puffy down here, and I got a little squinty, but yeah, it was starting to affect my vision. I was seeing double out of my peripherals. I was getting shadow if I looked at words on a piece of paper. I was getting like a shadow, and colors were muted if I looked at it with my left eye. Everything seems to be back to normal now. Everything seems to be normal. But, and I think this was coming on. I was not feeling myself and having no motivation for several weeks before this came on. I had been in a pain flare a few weeks previously. I had just finished like 2 weeks before, I had just finished a dose of steroids for my joints, because my joints were in flare. So the only thing I can think is that this was working, and it's why I had no motivation, and I was really struggling to do the things and keep up with all the things. Um, so I'm sorry I left you for a little bit, um, but here I am, and I love you all, and I'm gonna take you on this journey with me. And because I was in the hospital on Samhain night and was struggling before then, I didn't get my Samhain stories. I will be doing them, and I will upload them. Thank you so much.